This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome in alongside Garrett Ross again. Look, we have several things to do today on the big show. It's Smokey. Smokey is going to be here, but he's got old man shoulder issues, which it comes for us all, guys.
I need to ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you bring this drill damn thing in here this morning? Because I didn't see it yesterday.
Oh, you mean the Theragun?
So I didn't see
he
this
brought it
yesterday.
here yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I thought you were trying to help him out.
No. I have one. I do have one at my house. Look, I'm going to tell you, Garrett, you're about to be 40.
Yeah.
You're about to be 40. You need to go ahead and invest in one.
I agree.
You can get them at Sam's. You know, they're online. They're about $50 to $100, depending on the, like if you want to get an expensive one if you have like legitimate therapeutic problems, but if you need just, occasionally, the wife to, point it at your back and, work on it, or you can do it yourself. But some spots you just can't reach.
Right.
You need somebody else to, but, which is the best part about being married. Like,
I'd give you that.
Look, I'll tell you, like, you can tell me all the other things, like companionship and family and all that's great. But the best part of it is, can you scratch my back? Ooh. Like, how many times have you been in a situation alone in a room where you've got to, like, lean up against the door? Who knows, like, what's been on that door? You can't really get in the exact spot, so you're moving around. Can you scratch my back is the like, that's the best part of it. I know it seems like an oversimplification, but, right now, whenever I have an itch in my back, it's taken care of. As opposed to before, I don't know.
Just a struggle.
Then here's something I didn't know about before is that there's more than one use for lotion.
I'm not touching that. I'm not going there. I'm not touching that. I'm not trying to end up on Diddy's. Nope. Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
Look, I didn't realize that you could have somebody put moisturizer on your back.
Yeah.
Or on your elbows or whatever, It's nice. So I just
Keep north. All right.
I just thought it was for the thing that we don't talk about. So anyway, welcome to the Triple Option on today, solely on the Triple Option channel. I do not know how this is going to go because people are, stuck in their ways, Garrett?
Yeah. I mean, you got to progress at some point in time.
Yeah, we did. So that's why we moved it over. That was the whole point. And so far, just me and Scotty B are watching it. And maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe the rest of them will figure it out. Guess what? Going live is a bonus. This is for all of you later. But we do have to move it over. Otherwise, the point of having this channel is moot.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about one thing today, and we're going to talk about it in two angles. Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys. What does it mean for the Cowboys, and what could it mean for Colorado? We're going to get to that in a second after just some exchange of pleasantries and things that go on. But I'm hoping that, there we go, Kyle Visser in the room. Thank you, Kyle. Just sometimes people can't just be right there at 1 o'clock. We're here. We're doing it. Thank you to all of you, especially the ones who watch every day. Like, I cannot tell you how much it means to me that we do have a base of people that are, like, watching the show every day, encouraging, like,
right.
Kind of riding with me as we figure out what this is. And I don't know what this is ultimately going to be. I just know that it will be ridiculous. Like, that's what I want. Like, we live in a very serious world. And these are very trying times, no matter what side of the thing you should be on. And I'm just telling you, whatever side you're on, I'm on your side. Like, because my side is joy and stupidness. And, like, we get to talk about sports all day, and let's just appreciate how stupid it is. Like, that's what I want. I want people to, like, this is dumb. And here's the deal. I also today, you'll see once we get it uploaded, on a different channel, But we are repurposing our Cowboys channel to what is going to be called Catalina's Cowboys Corner. I had a very long interview with my very good friend RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. He's one of the best in the business. We had a good time. And we talked about McCarthy and the direction of the Cowboys and all this. And I think you're going to see like more basketball, more baseball in this show this year. I kind of want to, as we transition to the channel, like do
Especially
different things.
college baseball.
It's going to be college football at its core. Like that's where we're always, we're going to have a different college thing today, but there's going to be more comedy. There's going to be more things that we do now that we're separate and we're doing something that's separate from 365 Sports in that show, not from 365 Sports in general, because look at where we are. That was a nice effect, wasn't it?
That was nice, yes.
Listen, we are high-tech in the studio. We have chairs with 360 spin. So I don't know if you have that in your house. If you don't, get online. Check it out. Don't buy a chair that only goes this way and this way. So there's just things that are coming up. And but I'll probably do most of the time, 90% of the time, the Catalina's Cowboys Corner stuff will be from my house because I'll do it in the morning and kind of get it out of the way. But here's the thing, how ridiculous sports is. Who is the most valuable sports franchise in the world, Garrett?
I mean, I guess it would be the Cowboys, or unless it's one of those.
It is
European,
the Cowboys.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or like Manchester. Or
yes,
something.
it's worth like there's like Jerry Jones is worth $17 billion. Half of that is the Cowboys. Like they're the most. They're worth more than Man United. They're worth more than the Yankees. They're worth more than the Lakers. They're worth more, than like some of the F1 teams.
Right.
Whatever like are the big, billion-dollar things. And they are that because of it is a show.
But you got to give him credit for understanding that before other people really did.
Yes. But I was always of the belief for a long time that in spite of the show and everything, that Jerry Jones wanted to win. And I do believe he wants to win. He's competitive. He wants to win. The problem is that he knows one recipe to do that, or he only wants to do it with his recipe. This is the way that it is. We're going to do it this way. These are the ingredients, and this is what we have. And then somebody's come along and said, "Hey, have you tried it this why don't you try it this way or this way?" There's a myriad of different ways to get to the end and win the Super Bowl. Okay, but the ways you do that are all like the ways that you make good food is you use good ingredients, right?
Yep.
You can't make good food out of bad ingredients. If you've got, old eggs, old meat, old tomatoes, you're not going to make very good meatballs, right? You're just not going to taste good. Everything's old. And their way they're doing things are pretty antiquated. And I think that they're very happy with the way things are going. And the only way, because I'm getting more and more on board with Dion as the Cowboys head coach potentially, even though I don't believe it's going to happen.
I don't either.
I don't believe it's going to happen. I actually, RJ Ochoa, and when I post this interview, you guys can see it, I don't believe that Kellen Moore is going to happen either, because they've had ample opportunity to keep him when he was there and didn't.
Right. And didn't Jerry say like he doesn't want to bring somebody in who hasn't had the head coaching experience at the NFL level? And both of those would be negated if that was the case,
well,
right?
I think he says that, or that's what he said last time
Right.
around. But what's changed in 5 years from
True.
Now, who knows? We do know that he and Deion Sanders have talked how far that goes. And look, this could just be Jerry going, okay, I need some positive spin in this news cycle, because the last time he interviewed two people, he interviewed Marvin Lewis, he interviewed Mike McCarthy.
That's what I was worried about with this Dion thing was this something to Rooney Rule / get attention?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Like, how serious was it?
I know. I don't think Jerry is dumb enough to string Deion Sanders along.
I would hope not, but I wouldn't put anything past him at this point.
Oh, no. I certainly wouldn't either. Here's what I don't know. At what point, like, okay, so the Cowboys are all about attention,
Right.
and all that. That's how they kind of mask the things. Well, what can do that and allow you to continue feeling like, okay, you're in the family, you're doing this, than a former Cowboy great, Hall of Famer, who's the most famous coach of all the coaches. Deion Sanders.
And he can match your persona. Like, a lot of people can't match Jerry's persona. Deion can match that. Like, the talking, saying things, being out. Like, he could take some deflection away from Jerry if that was the case.
Look, there's a line in the movie Argo, which if you have not seen, you should. One Best Picture, after all. And the plot of that movie, it's about the Iran, like, it's a true story of the Iran hostage crisis and how they got them out, the ones out of the Canadian embassy, and they kind of came up with this fake movie that they were going to go shoot in it, like, that they were going to use their Canadian film company, and they did all this. And so they pitched this idea to the Secretary of State.
Right.
And he said, "Is this a good idea?" He's like, "No, sir, it's a bad idea." He's like, "But it's," Bryan Cranston says, "But sir, it's the best bad idea that we have. Like, there's only bad ideas, but this is the best bad idea we have." So right now, when you look at the Cowboys candidates, especially the way that they squandered the week where they could have talked to Ben Johnson and people like that and gotten creative. Now, they could still do it if Ben Johnson, if Steve Spagnuolo, if Aaron Glenn, if they lose this week.
Let's hope for Ben Johnson they do lose.
But, you know, oh, yeah, you too. Yeah, you do.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, they're playing the Commanders. But since they squandered that opportunity, now they have to kind of go to what would be plan B.
Right.
And the reason they squandered that opportunity is Jerry Jones did not think he was going to be making a coaching change.
Nope.
Mike McCarthy did something that nobody else has done and threw Jerry off script.
I think it's hilarious. Do you think it's hilarious?
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
it.
Okay, just make it sure.
I love it. And because I think these things need to happen to people at certain times.
Yep.
And I think getting thrown off your script is for a person like Jerry Jones, who, listen, eats nickels and shits quarters, like it comes out better the other end all the time. Like, sometimes when you do that, getting knocked off your plan can make you get more creative.
Right.
Now, do I think hiring Jason Witten with no NFL coaching experience
I think that's stupid.
I think that's silly. It's not something that they would do. But again, if we're asking him, right, to do all these things, then, be creative. Well, if you ask somebody to be creative, sometimes you can't control what their creativity is, especially if they're the one in charge. And this is the best bad idea. And I don't know if it's a bad idea in general. Like, I like Deion as a coach. I think I've been very clear about that. I think he's got something that we haven't completely seen yet, and he'll figure it out.
Right.
But I do think that there's as long as he's got a good staff around him, talent evaluation, all those things, I think there were people who are going to bend over backwards to play for him. And I think he should, like, when you've got the Heisman Trophy winner and the first pick in the draft playing in the Alamo Bowl, like, players do what you want them to do. And he's a little more old school than I think people give him credit for.
Right.
Because they just see,
the flash.
Tom Osborne wasn't flashy.
Yeah.
It
makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, Deion said, "I'm bringing my own bags," and they're Louis. Like, Tom Osborne would have been like, I bought these bags at Walmart.
Or I made them.
Like, I bought I don't know if you know this, but at Walmart they had a 2-for-1 sale where you could get a carry-on and a full-size rolling bag for $40. And it's like, yeah, so that's what I did. That's the difference. But coaching-wise, the way he runs things is more like Tom Osborne than I think people understand. Now, personality-wise, it's a little bit different. Selling the program, doing those things is different. So I think it would be the best idea all the way around that Jerry's going to come up with. But I'll also tell you, they're not going to win a Super Bowl until they start running the organization differently.
Right.
Not being afraid of the salary cap and all these things. It's hard because everybody, all this information is out there now. And there's tons of teams that, you know what? Sometimes you're going to be in salary cap jail because you went all out to try to win it because you had a group of players that could. And then you either do or you don't. But if you did it, then you can say, yes, we did it. As where the Cowboys, they're willing to go to a certain length, but they're not willing to go all the way.
Right.
And I don't understand that if you're making money, whether you're 5-12 or 12-5, why not? They don't this is not they don't have the money thing.
Right.
They have the money. They have nothing but money. They're the Cowboys. They're the most valuable franchise in the world. They don't know how to work within a cap. If it was about being, not having a salary cap, then these things probably wouldn't happen.
And that right there is a prime example of why I do not think Dion would take it. Because the success he's had, he's been able to go into college, take advantage of the rules, flip rosters, not have to worry about money, a salary cap, or anything. I think it would serve him better to stay at Colorado, say, I turned down the Dallas Cowboys job, leverage this situation, honestly, to his benefit, and then just take that, crush recruiting, and continue to win at Colorado. I think that would serve him better. I just don't see realistically how the Cowboys are viewed within true football circles compared to an outsider's perspective.
Look, Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast
crushed it
last night I'm not sure how coveted that job is anymore.
Exactly.
Because the curtains are off. You can see straight through into the building, and there are just teams that do it better. I used to say that Jerry Jones was the best owner and worst GM simultaneously. Now I don't really think, outside of the bottom line, which they keep hitting.
Right.
You keep just nailing that profit margin, that he's that good of an owner. And look, there's something to be said for an organization that takes a little bit less of the financial gain in order to keep up their quality.
Like the
because
Steelers
they know
or
it's
somebody. Yeah.
Look, okay, if you tell me I'm going to make, as the CEO of a company, I'm going to make $50 million a year.
Right.
For 10 years. But at the end of that 10 years, it's over. We'll have stretched everything too thin. We're going to run out our business.
Right.
And I would have made a lot of money. So if I don't care about my legacy or whatever, I'm going to have half a $1 billion in the bank before taxes and, whatever, but I'm going to have made $500 million from this company, Paul Catalina Bidets International, $50 million a year. But when I started out with this really new, interesting bidet that does all these great things, that gets you cleaner than any other bidet. And then we start, let's not use the kind of the parts cost more. And so I don't get the stock buybacks are not as good. So what we're going to do is, instead of using this nice plumbing material that we created before, we're going to use this cheap plastic.
Yeah, start cutting corners.
That is made in Bangladesh, that's what we're going to do. And, our customer service, instead of doing that in America, we're gonna farm that out overseas as well, and we're gonna save money there. And we're gonna say, when you go to business to do all that, eventually, I'm making money. We're still selling bidets. We're the number one name in bidets. But then everyone's like, guess what happened at the bidet factory today? This happened, and it's a tragedy because they cut all these corners. Or if you told me I could make $35 million for the rest of eternity, and my kids and grandkids would at least make that $35 million.
Yep.
But no one could touch us ever. I'd be like, you know what? I want that.
Yep.
I think that's something that Jerry is missing, is that, do you want to live like a king for a little while or a prince forever? I'll take Prince forever. Guess what the Prince doesn't have to do? All the hard shit the King has to do. Like, he has to sit in the meetings and go, okay, all right, well, I'll have to deal that with one day,
Right.
That's rough. We've got to go in, we've got to fight the Moors. Like, I don't want to do that. But I think that's something where the Cowboys have made so much money. They've kind of, the Jones family has kind of lost sight of what the product is.
Yeah, the football.
Like, the football is not as good. And, like, if they happen to win a Super Bowl along the way, now that would just be gravy to them. But their competitiveness is pointed in the wrong direction.
Like, you don't need a damn art center in your stadium. Like, let's just come on.
That might have been the point where it went from, the Cowboys and football.
Right.
Because that was like right after Parcells, right?
Yep.
Parcells, the stadium closed. Like, Wade Phillips coaches that 1 year or whatever it was, 2 years in Texas Stadium, and then they're off to AT&T, right? Mm-hmm. So since AT&T Stadium happened, they've become much more of a multimedia organization than a football team.
Yeah.
And so what do you do at the front of a multimedia organization, which the Dallas Cowboys are now? Well, you get a multimedia star who is Deion Sanders. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if that happens. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that, when you hear Deion talk about it, like, he's like, I love it here. Like, I love it here. This is all, like, the other thing is Jerry doesn't pay buyouts.
True.
Shereen Williams tweeted this last night. He's not going to buy out. He didn't buy out Mike McCarthy at $4.5 million last year. Mm-hmm. Is he going to buy out Deion at 10?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he would find a way. Like, there's got to be some. He would probably wait, like Belichick, or try to take that route.
Well, that's why Belichick, $10 million. Both of them have $10 million buyouts. So guess who doesn't have a buyout? Pete Carroll. John Gruden.
Right.
Like, someone like that. And that's where Jerry and I divert in the wood. Where, look, man, you got $10 million. Mm-hmm.
Find it.
And here's the thing: you'll make that back in a hurry. But this is the cost of doing business right now. If you want the person that you want, mm-hmm. and if you want a completely new direction for the Cowboys and you think you have a coach that's involved, like, somewhere else, say you want Kevin O'Connell. Well, I mean, again, but he's under contract.
Right.
Like, then you go get Kevin O'Connell and you pay what it costs.
Correct.
Because you're the guy, he's the guy you believe in. You want Sean McVay, you trade draft picks and you go get Sean McVay. That's what you do if that's what you believe is the best thing to do.
Who's the most realistic candidate to you right now? Like, as it sits right now, the most realistic.
Pete Carroll to me is the most realistic.
Okay.
It's got to be like Pete Carroll or something like that, because that's what Jerry can wrap his head around.
Okay.
And again, I wouldn't hate it, but I just feel like it's Mike McCarthy,
yeah.
but different. It's not new. It's not innovative, but you could do worse than a guy who's won a national champ, like a guy like Jimmy Johnson. I mean, Jimmy Johnson won national championship Super Bowl. You could do what the Jaguars did and hire Urban Meyer. That's not something that's going to work. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, what does it mean for the Colorado Buffaloes if Deion Sanders does in fact leave, and who do you go get at this point, which would be just really detrimental to them, and what happens to their recruiting class if they don't get the right guy, particularly the quarterback. This is the triple option.
Sending someone a boring gift basket.
Don't.
I know, gifting is hard, but don't give basic.
Gift bordery.
Fully arranged gourmet charcuterie boards. Perfect for any occasion. Birthdays, engagements, thank you gifts. Bordery has you covered. Plus, if you forget to get a gift, Bordery ships overnight nationwide. So no more excuses, Cheryl. Don't gift basic. Gift Bordery.
So much forgiveness. Wait, did you say forgiveness like far? Or forgiveness like forgiveness? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
I'm hearing far.
Forgiveness. Like forgiveness.
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness.
I'm still hearing far, but whatever.
Introducing Stealth 2 with more carbon for more forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Just hit it.
What's up? We outside. Having fun doing what I want, cause you know the sun beating down kinda like a drum. Look how I do it. Look how I do it. Another beautiful day out there, folks, so get out there, but don't forget your sunscreen, UV index. I just wanna have a good time. It's all on me, pleasure's mine. The weatherman said it's the right time, so we gon' get it jumping till the night time. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We outside. Yeah, I might just take a dive with it, feel alive with it, ride with it, cause I'm fly with it. Loud with the trouble, loud with the bass. No clouds in the way, smile on my face. Look how I do it. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me splash.
To be your best requires commitment, dedication, and intensity. It's what defines elite athletes and inspires Airwave to find new ways to optimize your performance. Introducing Airwave Recovery, a mouthpiece designed to work while you sleep to further unlock your potential. Airwave Recovery features our patented reflex technology. Small, integrated bumps uniquely positioned to activate your tongue's natural response. Your tongue will instinctively move forward, opening your airway and improving your quality of sleep. And thanks to our patented fitting material and a purpose-designed support wall, you'll enjoy a secure, comfortable fit all night long. With Airwave Recovery, you sleep better and recharge faster. Airwave Recovery, recharge your potential.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome back, Paul Catalina and Garrett Ross. And today we had one topic, which is Deion Sanders and his future at Colorado or potentially with the Cowboys. And today, Emery, we're brought to you by NordVPN, correct? Click the link in the description that Emery will put there. And look, if you need internet protection, private browsing is important. VPN. Emery, do you use VPNs? He doesn't want to admit to it because he knows we all know what he's used them for. But yes, I mean, sometimes you need, privacy in your business operation. So that's why you use a VPN. And I know some of you out there be like, what's a VPN? And I'd be like, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Just check out NordVPN and use it if you need a VPN. But Garrett, I talked about the Cowboys' perspective on this. I do want to talk about, before we go, the Colorado perspective on it, which to me is very interesting because when you are hiring coaches at this time, after recruiting, after the portal, before spring, which is, this is another reason, all that calendar's about to change. Yeah. And it probably will change when it gets collectively bargained because the coaches at the convention, they want the transfer window between January 2nd and January 12th, which is only 10 days, which can be fine. All that you can make your decision during any amount of time and then transfer during that time and enter the portal, and that gives them maybe more time. But if they got rid of spring football, if they collectively bargain and just figure all this out, it'll be fine. Yep. But they're going to keep moving the transfer window before they collectively bargain until, courts again make them do it. But so if Colorado is without a head coach, that there could be some options, who comes to if Deion goes to the NFL, if he goes to the Cowboys, right, who goes with him, who stays? My thought is he'd probably have more NFL, some of them would come, some of them wouldn't, but NFL guys would kind of come with them. The Cowboys only give so much freedom when it comes to staffing. Mike McCarthy finally got to be his own offensive coordinator because when he got the job, they're like, Kellen Moore's your offensive coordinator.
Right.
Just like Wade Phillips, when he got the job, they're like, Jason Garrett's the offensive coordinator. And then Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator, the head coach, and then they said, you got to go hire somebody, and he hired Scott Linehan. So I don't know how much freedom he'd have in that. And look, Mike Zimmer was with him at Jack State, so that could be a reason that Mike Zimmer stays,
right,
which I think a lot of fans would be happy with because he did a pretty good job this year, given a mountain of injuries on that side of the ball. I think Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs played a game together at cornerback. But all that being said, it would be bad. Like, I don't know who Colorado would get and what they would do.
I would need to see what.
Like, does Eric Bieniemy, because that's his school,
at this
is that
point,
where
I'm
he
out on
finally
Eric
gets
Bieniemy.
it?
No, at this point, I'm done on Eric Bieniemy and that whole experiment. I need to see what the realistic expectations of Colorado are, because for so long it was an afterthought. It was a program that you could not win at. Dion has gone in and changed that, but that's just the prime factor. You can win there if you get the right guy, but I don't know if anybody could come into Colorado and keep it at the same level where Dion has it now. I think that's going to be hard for anybody to do.
Oh, yeah.
So finding the expectations there. So whoever at this, whether it was this cycle or in the future, whoever has to come in and replace him, they're going to have their hands full. If he were to leave right now, that would be detrimental to this class because that would open up the transfer portal. You're probably going to lose Juju Lewis. Your whole roster would get rated, so that would screw them. I think they could find somebody. I think it's an intriguing job. I like that they're in the Big 12. I think that's something that garners more attention for people who traditionally kept up with Colorado or who thought that job would be something that they would be interested in. I think coming back over here plays into that, but I think you would need to go young. Maybe like if Jake Spavital popped off this year, like would you like say, okay, I want to get like him to come in. You have an offensive minded guy that knows, that's kind of familiar with that area. He's been out at Cal and recruited, knows the Big 12. I think you would have to go younger, but I would be intrigued to see like who actually takes that job seriously, what it's looked like, and who would want the task of following up Dion, because that's not going to be easy, man.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, because they're the most hyped program in the country that's not a blue blood.
Exactly.
Right? They get all this attention and all that. And look, they delivered this year. Heisman Trophy winner. Two of the first 3 picks in the draft will be likely from Colorado. I don't see that changing at all. Like I think the draft's going to be Cam or Shadur 1 and 2, like whoever the Titans prefer.
Right.
The Browns will take the other one. And then Travis Hunter will go to the Giants at 3, because if you're the Giants and you can't get one of those guys, you might as well just go, who's the best overall player in this thing?
Right.
Let's bring Travis Hunter to the NYC and do that. Although if there's a team that would
completely ruin him,
just be like, wait. What if we don't draft Travis Hunter? To me right now, it would be the Giants. Like, the thing is, the Raiders would totally do that. Like, if he's there at 8, the Raiders would be like, this is the face of our franchise for 70 years now. Travis Hunter, here you go. No, that's done. I don't care who the GM and coach is. That's what they do, right? Mm-hmm. But the Giants, just the way that they've been drafting and doing things lately,
they don't care.
When everybody says that, like, you should take a right turn, they're just like, yeah, but, like, I heard over there at this candy store. Like, hey, you know what you should do? Like, you should draft a bunch of really good offensive linemen. Like, yeah, I hear you, but let me throw this out there. Tight end. Hey, you know what? This guy graded out really well. Yeah, I got it. But you know what? You know who we like better? This guy who just has a really, like, he eats nails. He just does. Like, okay, well, is he better than this guy? Like, no, but does that guy eat nails?
That's like that sounds like the Cowboys too.
Yeah. No, I feel like Andy Dwyer is running the Giants. But I broke my thumb on the way over here, like that. that kind of thing. But so he's got some pelts on the wall. So following that up at Colorado after, almost 20 years of complete irrelevance.
Right.
Is really hard to okay, well, how do we do this? How do we match this energy? How do we keep this excitement? Eric Bieniemy's not that guy.
No.
Right? So he's just the one to be okay, is this, he'll try and get it. You know that. But it's maybe now overfit. So how do you go and match that? If you're Rick George, how do you take another big swing? I don't know if you can.
There's nobody out there that's on that level that can bring it.
Anywhere.
That's no. Yeah. I don't know of the history of the Colorado players who have interest in coaching, who are actively coaching. You see a lot of guys that are coming out now that used to be former players getting into coaching, which really goes back to what Deion was able to do. I don't know if maybe you kind of go that route because you've had success doing it once. I would honestly, I'm going for a young guy with the offensive mind. That's the only way I'm trying to replace Deion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna find somebody who can keep my, number one quarterback recruit.
I don't think that's happening. If that job
here's the
opens
thing:
up,
you're gonna
Juju's gone, dude.
You're gonna lose a lot of people who are there. Again, Deion has the kind of draw, not for all prospects yet, but for a lot of. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to go play for Deion Sanders right now.
Especially, there's a lot of recruits whose dads were growing up when Deion was the shit. They want to send their son to play for Deion.
Absolutely. So you're not going to have Nick say the only other coach who had that recent, Kirby Smart's a great coach. Mm-hmm. Sark, all these guys, right? All the guys at the elite, nobody's going to play for them just for the chance to play for them.
No.
The university's kind of faceless in that regard. Now, Alabama, they're the Vatican of college football. They've had, of the top 5 greatest coaches of all time, they've got 1 and 2.
Yep.
They're 1 and 2 on the list when it comes to championships and all of that. So that has a little bit to do with it, going to Alabama. Mm-hmm. But you saw in the way that this portal worked that I don't care, if it's – because it's not about money. Alabama has the money. They'd have the money to keep guys for Kalen DeBoer. But guys know that they can get that same money somewhere else, and they were going there to play for Nick Saban, not Kalen DeBoer.
It's
the
thing.
No knock on Kalen. It's not a knock on Kalen DeBoer. It's a knock on every single coach who isn't Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So Deion has a little bit of that right now. Not nearly as much, but that roster for sure is there to play for him. Mm-hmm. And without him, Colorado's just another place.
Right.
And I'm not knocking Colorado as an institution. It's just that's what it was for a long time until they – and here's why I admire Rick George. Guess what he did? Took a big damn swing, didn't he?
Yep.
He took a big swing, and it looks like it's working out for them. All right. This is a team 9-3 this year in the regular season. Of course, they lost to BYU in the bowl game. And, bowl games now, it's a little bit different, but that was a Big 12 game.
Well, that one was different because you had you didn't have people sitting out.
No, you didn't have people sitting out, and BYU rightfully felt a little snub from the playoffs. So I think they had whatever that little extra mustard that they needed on it. They had it, and it wasn't Colorado didn't want to be there.
No, I think it was
they
Colorado
weren't in a bowl
was
game
distracted.
forever. They plenty wanted to be there, but BYU had something to prove that day.
Think about the distractions you had around Colorado, right?
Yeah.
You had the Heisman, you had the draft. There was so much to that, where BYU was sitting down in bunker mentality. They've been that all year long. That was setting up for them to just come out and be themselves. Whereas Colorado, they wanted to be there, obviously. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they had other things going on, outside of just focusing in on that game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, anyway, all that being said, the best one I've heard, I've heard someone say Neil Brown.
Hell no.
Andrew Baker in the chat today, Garrett. He says hello. And he says, let's have more bidet talk, which I know would be right up his alley.
Yes.
Right up his alley. If I did a whole show just on bidets, Andrew would be like, this is the best one you've ever done. You won't top it. But Kyle Visser says, I'm going to hire Rashad Samples. And you know what?
Somebody's going to eventually.
Somebody's going to. again, not been a head coach, and that's kind of a jump from what he's doing. But my guy can probably handle it, I think. So you're going to need somebody who doesn't care they're stepping into Deion's shadow, even though it's only been there a couple years. That's going to be a hard thing.
A guy like, and this really is kind of set back because they didn't have success this year. But if Texas State would have been able to put together another really solid season, you could make a case for G.J. Kinney.
Yeah.
It's hard to think of other people like Lane. Really, he hasn't proven he can win anywhere.
But he's not going to lose. He's not going to leave a SEC school to go to the Big 12. I mean,
that's not going to work.
It's a financial, step down as far as your budget.
Could you get John? Maybe you could make a run at like John Summerall, which I'm hoping that LSU has a disaster and goes after him personally. That's kind of what I'm hoping. But he might be an intriguing guy.
I think that's what he's betting on too.
I kind of hope so.
I don't know. I've been told to let my previous. I want this guy to be a head coach everywhere to go, so I'm not even going to say his name.
I think the college coaches have said that as well.
The administration they don't want him. That's fine. Look, they're not in charge, or I'm not in charge, and they are. No, I mean, it's a hard thing to think. I think that would be the biggest thing. And all this to say, we spent 42 minutes talking about this now, and we're wrapping it up now. It's probably not going to happen.
I don't think it is.
It's probably not going to happen. Jerry is not as much as he loves the marketing and everything, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
I don't think it benefits Deion in any ways to do it.
Oh, I do. I mean, but again, here's why I like it. Deion, if Deion goes to the Cowboys, he has so many haters out there, just like the Cowboys. Mm. And there's nothing that'll make him happier than you don't think I can win a Super Bowl with Jerry Jones and the way things are on here? I'm Deion freaking Sanders, buddy. I hit a home run and scored a touchdown in the same weekend. All right? I did, there's a whole 30 for 30 about how I played in a football game and a baseball game in the same damn day. And it enraged the baseball managers and the broadcaster. Tim McCarver was so mad about it.
You're so jealous.
I remember, did you watch that? Have you seen that one? Deion's double play?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it. And McCarver, who I never liked as a broadcaster, maybe because I was always a fan of Deion, and I was like, hey, get off this guy's ass. Mm-hmm. Why are you busting his balls all the time? He's just a great athlete with bravado. What does it matter to you?
Oh, there's a whole lot of people that don't like that.
I know. Well, that's all it. Here's the thing: nothing Deion Sanders has ever done will affect you in your life.
No,
ever. And I've seen enough from growing up in his hometown, going to his university, and then covering him every day to tell you that he's like a superhero in a lot of regards, and that there's a duality to his personality that a lot of us just don't understand because we don't have to be that way.
Right.
And that's what makes him intriguing, is there's the part that we see and there's the part that we don't. And the part that we don't is way deeper than the part that we see.
Right.
And so I like it. I would like it for the fact that nobody thinks Jerry's ever going to win again. Nobody thinks it's a good idea. Nobody thought it was a good idea that Colorado hired him. I said nobody, but a lot of people, there were more naysayers than there were not, right? So he's been really good in this short time saying, oh, you don't think I can do this? Okay, I can do this. Oh, you're worried I'm going to take I can't have the job at my alma mater? All right, well, here's what I'm going to do.
Rob their best player.
I'm going to take their best player out of the class and set off a chain of events that eventually is going to make them think, do we know how to talk to high school kids? Do we know how to say words to them? Because since Travis Hunter, it's been a bunch of other versions of that same story, not to that level, but Travis Hunter, okay, can't get him. and I'm going to pull him right off the roster because his dad's a Deion Sanders fan. He says he wants to grow up and be just like Deion Sanders. Well, he had the right thing, like go to Florida State. That's step one. Or how about I bring the Deion Sanders to you?
Yep.
Come play for him. Those are the kind of things that would happen. So I'm here's the thing. Out of sheer boredom with the Cowboys and
it would be a show, man.
Yeah, and the absolute ridiculous time is a flat circle hamster wheel of doom that they're on, I am 1 billion% for it. Our old friend David Hellman said this last night. Like, look, if you're going to do this, let's not just talk about it. Be about it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Say it with your chest.
If you're just going to do it, do I think the Dallas football Cowboys or the Metroplex of Texas of planet Earth can do this? No, I don't think they will. They are risk adverse. And Jerry has been able to paint this wildcatter like myth about him for so long. But it's just flat out
reality's catching up to him, man.
Not reality. That's going to do it for us today. We've got Shahan Jayaraja. We've got Phil Bennett today. We've got John McClain, and you'll hear from RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys on a lot of this that we talked about earlier from his perspective. This is the Triple Option. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
You spent hours selecting your patio sofa. Choosing that grill would have taken weeks. Probably your car needed way more time. For sure, you would have spent months mulling over that pool of yours.